Have a seat. Here we go. Hey, welcome to such and such police department. I am Police Chief Mike. Okay, so let me give you a briefing. How you doing, by the way? You doing good? Fantastic. Don't take your ass out there and do too much. Let me tell you why. I want to thank you for joining the thank you for joining the XYZ Police Department. Here we serve and protect. Here you're going to be, patrolling. Look, let me tell you something. I just got this job. You hear me, officer? I just got this job. I want you to understand about being a police chief. You are probationary. You just got out the academy. Congratulations. I'm going to partner you up with your FTO. Okay? And you're going to have a great time. But I want you to understand something. You and I, while we're on the same police department, we are not the same. I want you to understand that you will likely, after you pass your probation and stuff like that, you will join the ranks of your fellow brothers and sisters in blue called the rank and file. Okay? When you join the rank and file, you will, be protected in certain cases by a police union. I think it's, the Policemen's Benevolent Association. Yes, the PBA. Yeah, you've heard of that. New York has the same name. And the sergeants have one and the lieutenants have one. Yes, you all have those things. And yes, you do. I ain't got that. I'm sorry, I mean to yell. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I don't have that, right? When I got hired for my job, I had to go through, a whole interview process. And it wasn't just me. It was other people too. People with probably, perhaps, maybe, who knows, way more, or in some cases, less experience than I. But e pluribus unum, out of many, one. I got picked, right? So I want you to understand that when you do something, I attend these little meetings, right? I ain't made an arrest in I don't know how many years, right? Because I've been too busy going to the FBI National Academy to attend their leadership thing so I could qualify for command. I went to the Northwestern University School of Staffing Command. I went there. Then I went to such and such state School of Staffing Command, all that stuff, right? Now, I remember back in the 70s when I used to run and gun out there in the streets. Man, it was a different time, and then the crack epidemic. So, I know how tough it is out there. I haven't policed the streets since the 1970s. I think Earth, Wind, and Fire had a concert in Germany, and I went to that concert in Germany, and that is when I'm sorry, I had a flashback. Let's continue. So, I want you to understand that when the mayor gets upset, I gotta be upset, right? When you do something, I want you to understand that you and your comrades, right? When you go and do something, I get the call. The mayor doesn't even, they know of you, right? I mean, come on, right? But they don't know you. They got, my phone number, right? So when I'm in the bed sleep or perhaps deep in some guts, you get what I'm talking about. You get it. I'm going to get that call. Those calls are not fun, right? And so you have, police protection and certain things like Garrity versus New Jersey that, the government cannot compel you to make certain statements, because then it would violate the Fifth and you couldn't be criminally prosecuted. And then, you have certain 14th Amendment due process protections that the government cannot deprive you of the property interest of your job without I don't have none of those protections. None of those, right? Which means if I do something, right, I could lose my job just as soon as you got yours. And as soon as I got mine, I could lose my job. So we're friends, right? Don't put me in a position where I got to choose me versus you. You see what I'm saying? See, I want you to understand that, Deep in some guts. You get it, Matt. Yes. So while I'm deep in the guts, and you know, it's the start, it's the fit, and then it's the sweat, it's deep. Too much. I'm sorry. It's too much. Sexual harassment complaint. Jesus Christ. See, I done got myself in trouble. See, just that fast, I could lose my job just like that. Right? So, right now we're friendly. But I want you to understand that when the mayor gets mad, he is going to pit me against you. He's going to pit me against you. And so, whose side do you think I'm going to have? Me and my six-figure salary versus you and yours. I want you to remember that when you go out there and police. I want you to remember, what is my chief gonna do if I do this? I know the law may say you can, but I'm gonna tell you that's not how things really work. So if you don't want to pit me versus you, I would go home and watch a couple of episodes of Leave It to Beaver, you know, or maybe the Andy Griffith Show, you know, and watch the episodes of the good old police officer who's always friendly and doesn't get into confrontations, and you will have a long career in this department. If you really want to police, just going to be honest, I don't know if you could do that here. Because quite frankly, I had to kiss some butt and say some things that I don't agree with to get this job. So, oh, you know you did the same thing. You know doggone well those answers that you gave during your interview were not the answers you really feel. Those were the answers that you read out of the How to Be a Police Officer book that you got on Amazon, written by Joe Schmo, PhD, who used to be the police back. You know that's the doggone truth. You know it. You know it. So I want you to understand, the gun that you have in your holster, it's just for you to make extra money. I want you to understand that these bullets right here, these bullets are only designed to hit a person when they are at a certain distance. I want you to understand that if you are not at that distance, you can't be hit. And so if you are not at that distance and you can't be hit, then you should be okay. You should be okay. So, that being said, how do you want to proceed in your police career? Oh, and by the way, you do know we have education incentives, right? You do know that the department and the city will pay for you to go to school. I read your file and you only got a high school diploma. I want you to understand that the department cannot be your everything. You will give your heart to the department. You will give your love to the job. We don't love your ass. I'm sorry. I ain't mean to burst your bubble. We don't love you. The department is designed to ensure itself. I am the chief pawn. You are the pawn. Let me say this again just in case you didn't get it. I am the chief pawn. You are the pawn. So if I am the chief pawn and I am being used, and I have to bend and bow to the will of the emperor with his new clothes, what do you think you are going to have to do when that time comes? The department will always be here. You will not be here. I will not be here. You see what I'm saying? This department and this town has lasted far beyond the occupants of it. Don't let this be your everything. The department has incentives. You take your butt to college. You get something that can never be taken away from you. No matter what circumstance you find yourself in, they can never take away your bachelor's degree. No matter if you get a law degree, even if they take away your license to practice law, they can never take away the legal knowledge that you have attained, which is invaluable to those who have none. Once they take away your certification as being a police officer, if you do something and I have to burn you in the battle of me versus you, they can never take away the fact that you have amassed an amount of knowledge that makes you knowledgeable to those that don't have. And therein can be the gifts that could keep you going if you lose this job or decide not to do it again. This is a well that you are in, and it is wet. As boys to men say, let's not wait till the water runs dry. Let's not watch our whole life pass us by. Don't wait till the water runs dry. It'll be the biggest mistake of our lives. Don't do it, baby. Ooh doo 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 doo. This is a well. Don't let it wait until the water runs dry. You go to college and use the department to get your degree. Use the department to get your law degree. Get certain levels of experience and learn how to do your 8 and skate. Don't volunteer for these extra details because it's going to put you in more situations under the influence of you being stressed out. And then you're going to make messed up decisions. Go home and enjoy your family. Go home and if you like to skate, go skate. If you like to fish, go fish. Find another outlet. So that way, when I have to burn you, you're not worried about losing a job. You're not worried about me holding over with the sword of Damocles everything as it relates to policing. You don't love the job so much to where you're hungry to run down and catch that one bull instead of walking down to catch them all. As told by Robert, whoever the actor was in the movie Colors, talking to the aggressive, young, and agile Sean Penn. If you love to go golfing, go golf. Find something while this well is wet, so that when it is your turn, if it ever becomes your turn, you have a rebound. As the great General Colin Powell said, avoid having your ego so closely connected to your position that when your position falls, your ego falls with it. And to that I say, avoid having your heart so closely connected to this job that when this job falls away, your life is at a stay. And it is against my job to be telling you this as your chief of police. But I am telling you this as a human being. As a human being. That's the name, Robert Duvall. I knew that was first on my mind, but I just didn't say it. I didn't want to be wrong. It is my job to tell you this as a human being. Because if you go out there and do something, and you could be right. You could absolutely be right in what you did. But the mayor doesn't want to hear that. The mayor wants me to burn you. And so if I want to maintain my job, I have to burn you. It's a matter of you versus me. I don't want to be put in that situation. But if you go out there and do something, even if you're right, and the mayor is mad, I have to deal with his emotion, not with your logic. Do you understand what I've just told you, young rookie? I have to deal with his emotion, not your logic. not the facts, not the years and years of training that I have, or the years and years of training that you will have. The decisions of Tennessee versus Gardner, this mayor doesn't understand that. The years of Graham versus Connor, this mayor doesn't understand that. The objective reasonableness, the totality of the circumstances, Terry versus Ohio, 392 U.S. 1, this mayor doesn't understand that. Miranda versus Arizona, 384 U.S. 436, this mayor doesn't understand that. The right of the people to be secured in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, particularly describing the place to be searched or the persons or things to be seized, which is the Fourth Amendment. This mayor doesn't understand that. So I have to deal with his emotion. You will be left in the wake of the bomb that I will drop to your career, because I have to compete with that. I don't compete with you. I get you. I was you. I have to compete with that. And so I am taking the unorthodox position as your chief of police to put you in my shoes so you can understand when you make that decision. Before you make that decision, think about what I said in terms of what I'm going to do. In this police department, you are out there trying to do what is just and what is fair. When I have to burn you, it's not going to be fair. It's going to be emotional. You are going to have to go home and tell your wife, or in your case, your husband, or whomever you are with. You're going to have to tell them how unfair I was. And all I can do is shoulder shrug. It's me versus you. I want you to understand that. If more police officers receive this type of speech from their chiefs of police, they would probably make better decisions. Unfortunately, at the behest of the citizenry, because then we would force them to solve problems for themselves. Need I even tell you about the case of Castle Rock versus Gonzalez, where the young lady got an order of protection from her estranged husband. Estranged husband did not bring back the kids as supposed. She went to the town of Castle Rock Police Department and told them about the missing persons. We have procedures. We waited. Continued to complain. We waited. Continued to complain. Now we put out a bolo. Her husband comes to the police station, gets into a shootout with the police. The police shoot and kill him. Search incident of his vehicle. Search incident to that situation of his vehicle produced all three daughters in the car dead. She sued the town of Castle Rock and its police department under Title 42 United States Code Section 1983, stating that her property interests and civil rights were violated, that she expected the police to do more in this situation. And it just so happens to turn out that the opinion of the court, as read by Antonin Scalia, then Justice of the Supreme Court, thoughts and prayers. But under that state law, no. They don't owe you anything. In that state, it says conditions where the police may do something, but they still have the ability to decide to do other things. Just imagine being in that position where you expected protection and didn't get it, and the courts tell you you're not entitled to it. Warren versus District of Columbia. Young lady was getting raped. Called D.C. police. D.C. police didn't respond in time. She sued and lost her suit. The public duty doctrine was cited that police have no specific contract with you, the citizen, to protect you. That job is yours. That is why you either A, learn how to protect yourself, B, hire someone to protect you, because there is no specific contract between you, the citizen, and the police. So understand these principles, young rookie, that I am telling to you, because I have dropped in your lap a plethora of gems for you to use. Choose ye this day what you shall do. For when you go out and do what you do, It may be true that when the mayor gets mad, I may have to burn you. And that's the end.